Alrighty, welcome to the After Hours Experience. I am your host, T.C. Restainem. I am here with my esteemed panel of experts. We are here on location at Bull Montana's photo shoot, which we'll get into momentarily. Bull Montana, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, folks, what's going on out there? It's Friday the 13th.
It is Friday the 13th. We're going to talk about that later on as well. Joining us on the panel, my favorite person of all time who has most signatures of everybody on his skin, the one and the only signature boy, Donnie.
Hey, how you guys all doing tonight, man? I'm so excited that I'm on the show, and I'm also really excited that it's Friday the 13th. It's my holiday, you know. I'm so excited. How you doing, TC?
I'm doing awesome. And you have a Friday the 13th Part 3 T-shirt on right now.
Yes,
in
I
3D.
do. Actually, I do. When I go to a lot of the conventions, I follow a lot of the harder conventions, and I always try to collect as many T-shirts as I can. As Friday the 13th because I'm such a big fan, and I've always been a fan. This is great. Such an honor for me to be here tonight, TC. Thank you.
And last but not certainly least, the greatest celebrity stalker of all time, the one and the only South Boston Jeff.
What's going on there, TC? I'm having fun here at this photo shoot, but if I hear the song Freeze Frame by Jay Giles one more time, I'm going to throw up all the corned beef I've had today.
Unbelievable. That's right. Oh, that's right. You were celebrating St. Patrick's Day a few days early.
I always do when it comes to the eating, of course, now. But I have a belly full of corned beef and sausage, and I'm ready to go for a radio interview.
Unbelievable. Just don't burp or throw up on the Colonel. Let's talk about some sad news here. Since our last radio broadcast, we lost one of the true giants in science fiction. We're talking about none other than Leonard Nimoy himself, Mr. Spock from Star Trek. I know a lot of us in here have our own stories about meeting Mr. Spock, but Leonard Nimoy was a local boy right here in Boston, Donnie.
Yeah, he was. From what I understand, I mean, I've followed him pretty much all my life since I was a little kid. And he was. I'm not exactly sure what town it was, but
he was from Boston.
Yeah, well, it was actually a town outside of Boston.
No, it wasn't. He was from Boston.
The South End. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the South End.
He grew up right around the Mass General Hospital.
Yes, he did. And I was very fortunate enough back in, I think it was 1977, when they used to have the old car show, the World of Wheels, at the Heinz Convention Center. I was lucky enough that my mom took me down there, and he was actually one of the guests, one of the celebrity guests. And I was able to go in front of him and see Mr. Nimoy, and it was like, I used to collect a lot of the action figures. I was a big action figure collection, Star Wars, Star Trek. I mean, I was into it all the way. I knew from the minute that I was 5 that I was destined to be, a sci-fi head. But anyways, I took my doll that I had, my action figure, and I put it right in his face. I'll never forget it. It's crazy that I do remember it, and he kind of looked at me, and I said out loud, I said, "Oh, he looks a lot older than he does on the Star Trek show." And I remember my mother kind of grabbed me by the shoulder and pulling me back and like looking at me, and I'll never forget the expression that Mr. Nimoy looked at me, and he had this big smile on his face, and he must have realized, I was a young kid and didn't really know any better, but that was my experience with Leonard Nimoy. God rest his soul.
Unbelievable. Mine took place in July of 1992. He was doing one of those fan conventions in Boston, and it was him and William Shatner on the bill. And everybody knows that William Shatner is not the most friendliest person in the world, shown by his actions by not even showing up at Leonard Nimoy's funeral.
That's amazing.
That's his best friend in the world, and he doesn't even show up on it. That's insane. Well, Jeff and I were there. And this was a warm summer's night back in 1992, and God rest his soul, Jerry Perlswig, the king of autograph collectors, told me where he was staying, and he was staying at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel on the corner of, what's that fancy street downtown Boston there?
Oh,
That's Boylston.
Not Boylston. No, it's
Tremont Street.
No, it was on the corner of Arlington and...
not High Street.
Not Newberry. Newberry Street.
Newberry Street. Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget, I'm from Atlantic City. I only come up and hung around with you guys. So it was on the corner of Arlington and Newberry Street, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Now, here a limousine pulled up. William Shatner walks out first, okay? Now, he's surrounded by autograph hounds, and he's his usual dickhead self. He's not going to sign. No. He had a baseball cap on and sunglasses. No. Go away. He gets in the limousine. He thinks Leonard Nimoy is right behind him. Leonard Nimoy is still in the lobby talking to somebody because he grew up in Boston.
Sure.
He's, some guy he knew from, as a kid. And now all of a sudden, William Shatner's like, no. This black dude, who had to have been about 6'8", walks up and he goes, "You're going to sign this for my kid." And his little kid who looked like Webster came up, and William Shatner looked at the size of this guy, just not, and he signed away.
I'm sure he
and that was like opening the floodgates, because every autograph collector that was there, including myself and Jeff, ran up and got William Shatner's autograph.
Oh, my
All right, Leonard Nimoy came out. They were running late. He said, "I'll get you guys on the way back. I'll get you guys on the way back." We've heard that before.
Yep.
You know, they're going to sign it. They're not going to sign it.
Yeah.
Well, we waited around for about 4 hours. The same limousine pulls up now on the front of the building because there's 2 exits at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. You have to stand on the corner to really make sure which way they're coming out.
Right.
So the limousine pulls up, and Shatner gets out on the sidewalk side, and every autograph collector's going nuts for him. Nimoy opens up the door on the street and sneaks out. Jeff and I are waiting right there on the corner, and he's like, Mr. Nimoy, can we get your autograph? He goes, walk with me, talk with me.
Walk with me, talk.
Walk with me, talk with me. So we're walking down Newberry Street with Mr. Spock. Leonard Nimoy was saying, "Oh, well, big fans." We're going to go, "Thank you, thank you. I always love coming home back here to Boston. You know, live long and prosper." Then on the back of our heads, you can hear the autograph holograms going, "There he is!" And Nimoy goes, "Sorry, gotta go." And he bolts and takes off and goes around the revolving door, and that was our Leonard Nimoy story.
Yeah, we were fiddling around with the camera. We couldn't get any live action portraits.
Well, don't forget, this was 1992. This was the VHS days, so you couldn't really walk around with a giant VHS camcorder and try to be, try to hide it from the guy.
Right.
Now, Colonel, you have a story about you and Leonard Nimoy a long time ago at a Dunkin' Donuts.
No, it was Dippin' Donuts.
What's Dippin' Donuts for those people out there who have no clue like myself?
Dippin' Donuts was a place right by the Heinz Convention Center.
Okay. Would you share a cruller with the man or something?
No, he asked me, sir. He asked me, "Son, would you give me a cup of coffee?"
Oh, you worked there?
No, I was outside there, and my friend that worked inside the Heinz Convention Center there,
Uh-huh.
he told me to get Mr. Dr. Spock a cup of coffee.
Okay, Dr. Spock is the guy who wrote the book about babies. Mr. Spock is the guy from Star Trek.
I mean, Mr. Spock.
All right, yeah, okay. Kind of like Dr. Seuss and whatnot, right?
I mean,
Give the guy a break. He's probably thinking of
you
Dr.
go, yeah,
Dr. McCoy, Dr.
Dr.
Spock.
Spock, may you rest in peace.
All right, Dr. Spock is dead, and along with Mr. Spock, who was Leonard Nimoy. Rest in peace. But getting back there, what's your take on William Shatner not showing up at his best friend's funeral? What do you take on that, Donnie?
I'll tell you something. First of all, I mean, I heard a couple of different stories. The one story that I did hear that was all over Access Hollywood. It was all over Extra. And then a lot of the stories I heard were on a lot of the talk shows on TV. And sometimes when I get out of work, I have a lot of free time in my hands. So I watch these shows. And they said that supposedly he was doing something for charity and he couldn't get out of it. And he felt bad that he already had the obligation to the charity event, so he didn't want to.
Okay, this is your best friend for the last 50 years, and you couldn't say to the charity, "Let's do this again another time"?
That's what I couldn't figure out. I really think that he used that as an excuse. I really think there's some deep down. I
Jealousy?
think they had some problems that no one really knew until now. I mean, I think Shatner is kind of not able to bury the hatchet. I think him and Nimoy had some words at one point, or I don't know if it was ego. I don't know what it was, but
I think it's deep down that William Shatner was jealous of Mr. Spock. Because when you think of Star Trek, who do you think of right away? Mr. Spock.
yeah, absolutely.
Right?
That's what I think of.
The pointy ears.
Yep. I mean, live long and prosper. I mean, that was the biggest saying and T-shirts and everything.
The
back
biggest
in the
saying
day.
in sci-fi,
Yes,
next to "May the
yes.
Force be with you," was "Live long and
That's
prosper."
right. But it's a shame. I really feel bad for Shatner, actually, because, you got to be able to bury the hatchet, sooner or later, even if you do have an argument. I mean, that's your best friend. I mean, they basically, went through everything in life together up until the end. And
That'd be like me missing Bull's funeral.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. I just don't agree with it at all. I can't believe that happened. I mean, it's unfortunate. It really is.
Well, what's your take on William Shatner missing Leonard Nimoy's funeral?
I'm surprised that William Shatner didn't attend. I'm very shocked about
I
that.
can't believe it either, Bull.
Jeff, what's your take?
Oh, I'm not surprised at all that he missed the funeral. I kind of called on it. I said, yeah, he probably won't even go to the funeral because I just think he's a shady guy.
He's in it
had
for the
a
money.
history. He's in it for the money. Well, first of all, he's probably just scared of facing all those autograph hounds and everything. But I don't forget, a local girl used to be married to William Shatner that turned up dead in the swimming pool. She OD'd or something, and he appeared sad about it on the news. But I think there was something fishy going on about that
I agree
too.
with you, Jeff.
And
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I just find William to be a shady guy, and if you want to see his shady side, his acting, check out the Roger Corman movie Shame, where he plays a recruiter for the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, the point that he didn't show up for Nimoy's funeral does not surprise me at all. I mean, I think terrible.
Yeah, it was horrible, Jeff. It was horrible. And I've heard stories also that people have gone to conventions and approached him for an autograph and whatnot and said that he was very rude. He had not too many good things to say.
He's not rude enough to take you $100.
Oh, yeah, he'll take the money, but I mean, he'll only give you a certain amount of time. Once that time is up, forget it.
Yeah, William Shatner. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, TC.
Of course, and I met him on the street. I got it for free, but I can't complain. I got it for free.
Right, that's rare.
Anything to add to that, Colonel?
No, nothing at all.
All right, moving on. It could have been a double whammy for the sci-fi world that last week when we lost Mr. Spock, Leonard Nimoy, but Harrison Ford almost bit the big one when he crash-landed his World War II plane at a golf course.
I think he's going through midlife crisis all over again.
Midlife? He's 73 years old.
I don't know what it is. I think
Alzheimer's is setting in?
The thing that's killing me about this whole story is he just recently broke his leg coming out of the Millennium Falcon. They were filming the new Star Wars, and he had another problem. I don't know if he's going senile or what, but he just actually healed. They said he just was recently, given a bill of good health to go on, and now he does this.
Well, according to what happened was he had engine failure, and he was just a couple of blocks away from the airport, but he crash landed perfectly. Any other pilot would have been dead, but you got Han Solo flying this plane.
No, you got Indiana Jones flying.
Yeah, but don't forget Indiana Jones. You know how to fly? Fly, yes. Land?
No.
So obviously, Indiana Jones was not at the helm. Han Solo was because he landed it perfectly. So we almost lost Harrison Ford right before the release of Episode 7 of The Force Awakens. Unbelievable. Your take on this, Colonel Beaumontana and Harrison Ford?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised Mr. Harrison Ford didn't when the plane was landing. Lucky it didn't hit like one of the senior citizens probably playing golf on that course.
He was very lucky when he crash landed. You know why? Because a bunch of doctors were there and saved his life. Because as soon as he crash landed, all the doctors were playing golf, and they went over and they go, "My God, it's Han Solo. We can save him."
Wow.
They actually had one of the doctors, I believe, was resuscitating him. They said he was out cold. They were actually reviving him. I guess one of the doctors that were on the field knew exactly what to do. He jumped right into action and grabbed Mr. Ford and knew right what to do.
See, this is what happened when you don't have Chewbacca as your co-pilot.
That's true. Well, I was checking my Twitter, and I guess Chewbacca did wish him all the good health.
And Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew, to his credit, when getting back to Leonard Nimoy, when he died, he tweeted a picture of himself giving the "Live Long and Prosper" a hand signal.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
hats off to Peter Mayhew. Star Wars and Star Trek, they are now kind of connected because of the J.J. Abrams angle there. What's going on? Your take on this Harrison Ford thing there, Jeff?
Well, he should just slow down for himself. It's going to be great to see him in the upcoming Star Wars movies. Can't wait and everything, but the man should slow down. I mean, it's not every day you get to fly your World War II crackpot Acer or whatever the hell his plane is, but the guy should just slow down.
Who do you think he was,
out.
Snoopy, when he was flying around?
Well, that was a World War I flying.
Oh, sorry.
With camel or whatever. That he took out.
He better not crash land anymore.
I think it was actually his house.
He's got more Star Wars and Indiana Jones movies to make.
I just think Harrison can't wait.
He should just slow down, mellow out. I want Harrison Ford around to be my mentor for quite a few more years. So
unbelievable.
I agree.
Now, speaking of Star Wars, we're going to go back into the archives right now. I have an interview that I did with none other than R2-D2. The real R2-D2 was on the program a few years ago, but he wasn't alone. No, he wasn't joined by C-3PO. He wasn't joined by Chewbacca. He was joined by none other than the Iron Sheik. Now, the Iron Sheik and him had words on the program. Now, you remember this, Colonel.
Yes, I do.
I mean, the Iron Sheik actually, wanted to humble R2-D2. Now, you don't have this in other talk shows. You can have, you're going to have all your A-list celebrities that are out there now, but you're talking about two icons of icons.
Absolutely.
1,000 years from now, everybody's going to know who R2-D2 and the Iron Sheik are, and they were on the same program together, and that program just happened to be ours, Colonel. Isn't that right?
That's right, folks.
So what we're going to do, if Airwolf Chris in the booth, if you can run that R2-D2 interview, and may the Force be with you. bring out my next guest. My next guest has been in 6 of the biggest motion pictures of all time. He is a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's been in Academy Award-nominated films. Everybody in the world knows him. The one and the only R2-D2! Like I said, R2-D2, over here, my friend. Wait a minute, we don't have the ramp and stuff. Okay, all right, okay, all right. All right, before he blows a gasket, the Jawa, send the Jawa crew in here. We need to lift up R2-D2. Come on here, Hootiti.
Let's go.
Enjoy your medicine over there. All right, lifting him up there. R2-D2, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Guys, the bottle of Jawa juice is on me. All right. R2-D2 in the house. Get a shot of my good friend, R2-D. What? Now, R2-D2, you've been in 6 of the biggest motion pictures of all time. You should have got top billing. Forget about Ewan McGregor in the prequels, and forget about Harrison Ford. We're talking about R2-D2. You are the biggest star in that film. Is that correct? What was that? I didn't copy. Oh, wait a minute, I need a translator. And of course, does T.C. Rastani have a translator here? Fluent in over 6 million forms of communications right there. The one and the only C-3PO right here. It's not the real C-3PO. Now, I understand that you got some heat here with C-3PO. You didn't like him in the movie shoots, did you? Really? Now, did he get a bigger trailer than you? Is that what the problem? All right, listen, don't rub up the desk here. Did he have a bigger trailer than you? I can't repeat what C-3PO just told me what you just said. You better watch your language there. Don't blow a gasket. Did you have some pepperoni pizza? Is that why you're all excited? Uh-oh. Now, I understand that, Sheik, you got a question for the Iron Sheik? Get a shot of here. The Sheik and R2-D2 over there. Here's the Sheik. Now, R2, you want to ask him a question?
Let's fight words.
Well, I wish you was in the ring so I can suplex you, put in the camel clutch, make you humble.
Yeah, that's exactly the noise you'd make if you were getting humbled there, R2. Now, I understand that you've been to, can I ask you one question off the record here? Now, you were in Return of the Jedi. Did you happen to get to see what was underneath the metal bikini of Princess Leia?
Oh, I always go.
I don't need a translator for that one, my good friend there. There, good answer! Yeah. Unbelievable over there. Now, Sheik, I understand that you are one of the biggest Star Wars fans in the galaxy. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Now, how many times do you think you've seen the movie?
Oh, probably quite a few times.
Quite a few times. Now, you think if he was in the corner when you took on Hollywood blonde jabroni Hulk Hogan, that you'd still be world's heavyweight champion?
Well, I imagine, and I think so, and yeah.
Yeah, I think the Sheik would still be world's champion if R2-D2 was in the corner there. Now, all right, understand one other thing, R2-D2. Your hatred for C-3PO is legendary. The National Enquirer has, had done stories about it for 35 years. Now, if he was here right now, this is an uncensored program. The Sheik is here. Some of the things that the Sheik has said has been unbelievable. Now, look at the camera right out there, R2. This is your chance to rebut the C-3PO. He's watching right now. Floor is yours, my friend. Stick it to him. I couldn't have said it better myself, ladies and gentlemen. R2-D2. Now, I understand later on that you're going to be joining us at the end of the program for the big salsa off. Is that true? Yeah, I understand that big time. So what we're going to do right now, R2-D2 is an unbelievable superstar, but there's more than meets the eye with this man. We'll be right back after this big time commercial break. R2-D2, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, this is Leah Thompson, and you're watching After Hours with T.C. Rastani.
righty, welcome back from that big-time commercial break. As you can hear from the music, we're going to be talking about none other than the greatest horror series of films of all time. Today is Friday the 13th, 2015. My esteemed panel of Friday the 13th experts are here. And we're going to start off with the man who knows everything there is to know about Friday the 13th, South Boston Jeff. Jeff, what is your favorite Friday the 13th movie and why?
Okay, my favorite one has to be Part 4, the final chapter, because it has the A-list, the best celebrities of any one of them. It has, well, if you look at it from, it has Crispin Glover from Back to the Future. It has Lawrence Monahan from The Last American Virgin, and it has one of the first roles with Corey Feldman as Tommy, and that was the one where they say it was supposed to be the final chapter.
And it's got one of the chicks from Weird Science that got together with the two geeks at the end. Remember she got it in the raft?
Oh, of course I do. I mean, yeah, that was one of the best nude scenes of my teenage years. Of course I remember her.
You got to love the twins, Jeff. The twins on that one, the two of them, they were really good.
Yeah, Sherry
the
and
one
Terry,
that got thrown out of the window into that was like probably traumatized me for the rest of my life when I seen her get thrown out of the movie. When I seen her get thrown out of the
until
out of
she
the
hit the
movie.
ground and
I
you
mean, out of the
realize how
window,
fake it
and
is.
Yeah, that was crazy. The slow motion was really good too.
Now, taking the slow motion, you guys had a little too much Shiki medicine during that commercial break there. So you guys were talking about Friday the 13th, Part 14. That hasn't come out yet, guys.
No, not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, Friday. So you dig Friday the 13th, Part 4. I actually kind of dig that one as well because it had that guy looking for his sister from Part 3, who was actually
that's right.
who was actually killed. But
tent.
if you follow the movies continuity wise, Friday the 13th, Part 3 and Friday the 13th, Part 4 only take place like 2 days apart from each other.
Right.
And how could there be like missing person articles in the newspaper about his sister? Couldn't have happened yet.
That's true.
All right, but that doesn't matter. Friday the 13th are known for their continuity.
Right. He just got the hockey mask from Shelley like about 2 days before, and there's already a picture in the paper.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. I never thought of that actually. It's true.
But all right, so your favorite one is Friday the 13th, Part 4.
Well, 4, and then 7, and then, of course, Part 1, Kevin Bacon.
That's
Part
right,
7
Kevin
is that
Bacon.
the one with your good friend Terry Kaiser?
Oh, that is. Yes, it is. It was originally supposed to be billed Jason versus Carrie, but Sissy Spacek took one look at that script and said, "Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that one." So they got another girl to well, they just wrote another story and just Friday the 13th.
That was the one where the girl had like Jedi powers and
Yeah,
whatnot.
she had telekinetic powers, and Jason actually had a match for the first time. She was throwing couches and plants at Jason's head.
And that was the first time we kind of saw Jason's ugly face when his mask exploded.
Well, yeah, the like we've seen it before in Part 4 when the mask got knocked off by Tommy. And then it just gets different in every movie.
Yeah, he has a different face in every
Yeah,
single movie.
It's true.
Which goes back to the continuity-wise, because if you look at Friday the 13th, Part 2, where he has the potato sack on his head with the eye, and then he has long, strangly hair, and then supposedly Part 3's the next day, and he's this big old jacked guy with like, he kind of looks like the demon that Conan the Barbarian fought and Conan the Destroyer in that
That's
window,
true.
in that mirrors room. That's what it kind of looked like.
The Funhouse.
In the Funhouse, yeah.
Funhouse.
That's what Jason looked like all of a sudden.
It's true. It's true.
All right, Donnie, your favorite Friday the 13th movie and why?
Oh man, this is going to be hard because I have a couple of different favorite ones. I do got to say the one that sticks out the most is because of the person that played Jason is Jason Takes Manhattan. That was one of my favorite ones.
Kane Hodder.
Yes, Kane Hodder is actually I was able to meet him. He signed me. So I had many meetings with Kane Hodder, and he's really a great guy, great person. But I love Jason Takes Manhattan because it kind of got everybody out of that same old kind of, Camp Crystal Lake, blah, blah, blah. Like you guys were just talking about, Jason looks like this. Now looks like Lou Ferrigno, and Jason Takes Manhattan kind of got everybody out of that. And I love the way they kind of brought it out into the water. They were on the boat. They were on the ship, actually. And, they incorporated a little bit of heavy metal into that because the girl that played guitar and she was filming herself, she was trying to be a video star. So it was kind of different.
And, of course, it has that iconic scene where Jason pops out of the water and the first thing he sees is an ad for like a New York Rangers hockey mask.
Yes. I just thought that was kind of good. I'm glad they kind of did that. It kind of got everybody off the track of the Camp Crystal Lake kind of theme.
But getting back to continuity, at the end of that movie, he goes into a sewer and gets covered in
Yes.
toxic waste and turns back into a kid.
That part of the movie, I don't know. I did some investigating on that.
What the hell was going on there?
That was kind of a screwy kind of ending. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they had another director that came in and finished it. I don't know if they ran out of money and they didn't have the budget to complete it, so they had to do something like that. But yeah, that's the only part of the movie that I really didn't like, the way it ended. It didn't make any sense, because if you follow, the next movie that they did, they never went back and let you know.
Oh, the next movie after that was Part 9. I don't even count that as a Friday the 13th movie.
They were really kind of getting crazy at that point.
Where he got the military found him
Yes.
and it exploded him.
Yep.
And then some wacky doctor ate his heart and he got possessed by Jason.
Jason Goes to Hell, yes.
And his sister turns out to be Wilma Deering from Buck Rogers.
Yep. And actually, Kane Hodder actually did an appearance in that movie. He played one of the police. If you watch that movie and you see,
It's pretty hard to watch that
he was
movie.
in
I
there,
shut it off every time. There's
Yeah, I'm sure,
really
Jeff,
no
but
reason to watch that.
I liked it
movie,
'cause it kinda
other
got
than
off
to
the beaten
complete your
path.
collection.
No, I got off the beaten path of all the rest of them. That's probably what stuck out in my mind the most, because they try to go in a different direction, but I don't think, even though they went in a different direction, I don't think it worked.
Yeah, all you need
Yeah, I
to do
don't
is
think-
watch
yeah.
the movie The Beast Within. It's the
Yes,
same
yes.
premise of,
yeah,
a,
it's
of
true,
a movie.
Jeff. You're right. Yeah, you're right,
And
Jeff.
speaking of Kane Hodder, now, Jeff, you have an interesting Kane Hodder story that you talked about when you wanted to know about your father. So
Oh,
why don't you
yeah.
give him your Kane Hodder story?
Oh well, I told him like like I got would you make one out for Tweedo? And he's like, who's Tweedo? And he's like, oh, that's my dad. He's a huge hockey fan and everything. He's got the record he's one of the first people who tried to stab somebody with his hockey skate.
Oh, jeez.
He's like, oh, geez, I gotta meet this guy. But yeah, Kane Hodder is, and he signed my machete. Now, I got a very special machete that's it's signed by quite a few people from the Friday the 13th. Well, not really a few, but Kane was pretty impressed with it, that it was signed by his good buddy Danny Trejo,
Oh, yes.
who played Machete.
Oh, yes, that's a nice machete.
Oh, Danny Trejo signed it. Betsy Palmer signed
great
it.
machete.
Ooh, wow, this is a great machete. This is going to be worth something someday.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree,
He
Jeff.
kind of sounds like John Goodman when you talk to Kane Hodder. Yeah,
I never thought of it that way.
And if you want to see some other interesting Kane Hodder stuff, check out Kane Hodder and Quincy's interview. That's one of my
Yes,
personal
that's
favorites.
really good.
Yeah, that's really good.
But
That's one of my best Kane Hodder stories about with the meeting the Quinn.
You can find that on our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/AfterHoursDC.
Check it
Now,
out.
what's your favorite Friday the 13th movie, Bull?
My favorite actor would be Kane Hodder.
Okay, great. But what's your favorite Friday the 13th movie?
Would be Part 3.
In 3D. Me and
Yeah,
you
that's a
have the
great
same favorite Friday the 13th movie.
That
I
was a
love
good one.
Friday
Yeah,
the
that's a real
13th
good
Part
one.
3 because that was the one where he got the iconic hockey mask, as Jeff had mentioned, from
Yep.
Shelley the Prankster in the movie. And it was the first movie, Friday the 13th, and only Friday the 13th movie in 3D.
Yep.
Like your shirt there, Donnie.
Yes, sir.
Now, Friday the 13th Part 3, we it had that funky music at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Sound like a Scooby-Doo episode. Scooby-Doo.
Now, Friday the 13th Part 3, that was the very first Friday the 13th movie I saw in the movie theater. Here's a funny story, all right? I was down in Atlantic City, New Jersey. That movie came out in 1982, so I was like
Wow,
11 years
82.
old. So my mother wanted to go to a movie because she heard 3D movies. And when she
Sure.
was a kid, she saw, Vincent Price, House of Wax,
Yeah.
and all these other movies in 3D. So she says, we're going to go see this movie. It's a horror movie, and it's in 3D. Now, she's not expecting the, what Friday the 13th movie is. It has,
Sure, sure.
all
Legs
the, all,
coming
the, all
off.
the, the sex, drugs, rock and roll,
Yeah.
and murder in it. So she's sitting there trying to put her hands in front of my eyes and covering and she had her hands in front of her eyes because she was grossed out at some of the sick shit that they did in that movie. And I was fascinated after that. I wanted to know everything there was to know about Jason Voorhees
Sure.
and the lore of Friday the 13th, and that's where cable came in the 1980s.
HBO.
Because I saw Friday the 13th Part 3 first, and in the beginning of Part 3, they had that little clip of Part 2. So obviously,
Yeah, it brought you
I had to
back.
figure out what happened in Part 2. Now,
Right,
Friday
right.
the 13th Part 2, in my opinion, is the scariest
Oh, yeah.
of the Friday the 13th because here you have Jason running around, no hockey mask. He's wearing overalls,
Yeah.
a flannel shirt, and a potato sack with one eye. I mean, how frightening is that? And this is the only time that Jason ever uttered a word or a sound in any of the Friday the 13th movies. I could be wrong. I could be mistaken.
You know something, TC? You're right. That's
it was
right.
when Jenny kneed him in the balls.
Wow, that's right. He went, ugh.
He went, ugh.
Yeah,
and it was the
remember that.
only
Yeah, he made
time.
that. That's right.
And he made noise also again in that movie when he came through the window. Went,
Yeah, he went, yeah, at the very end of that movie. That's correct. Yeah,
So
wow.
that could be
TC,
the
I forgot
only
about
trivia that Jason actually had.
Yeah.
Vocal cords was in Friday the 13th
And then they just
Part
ended
2.
it. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Now they had some stinkers in these ones as well. All right, my top favorite Friday the 13th are Friday the 13th Part 3, Friday the 13th Part 2, Friday the 13th Part 4, and we haven't even mentioned Friday the 13th Part 6 yet, which is probably the best of the bunch.
It is.
It was well made. It was frightening. It had an awesome Alice Cooper song.
Yes,
And
it did.
Alice Cooper came on for the soundtrack. I mean, like that movie was what pretty much got me into Cooper.
Constrictor.
The Constrictor album. So I was like, that awesome song. I went right to Strawberries and I went to look for some Alice Cooper, and I saw he had all this stuff from the 1970s. Welcome to My Nightmare, and I was introduced to a whole new world of rock and roll.
Well, that was my first introduction to Alice Cooper, and then the next year later, he was at WrestleMania 3 with Jake the Snake
the man
Roberts.
behind the mask.
Yep.
Now, interesting trivia question here. Who was the first victim of Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 6?
Oh, that's pretty. Do you want me to answer
go ahead,
that? Or
Jeff.
should
We're
I
going to
give
let
you
Jeff
guys?
do that because he's
Well,
probably
that
a
would
little
be
more
none other
knowledgeable.
than Ron Palilio, Arnold Horshack from Welcome Back,
Wow.
Kotter.
Welcome back,
great.
Kotter.
Welcome Back, Kotter.
That's why I love you, Jeff.
Now, the backstory is
Yep,
he
the
came on for the
cemetery.
movie and walked around the set acting like he ran the whole show, disrespecting everybody on the set. And they said, guess what? You die first. So
Yep.
they killed him and said, see you later.
Rest in peace, the character, and rest in peace, Ron Palilio, who was a nice guy. He actually talked to you on one of your celebrity stalkings
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
I remember. Pretty cool guy. I brought that up, too. I brought up Friday the 13th 6. And he's like, yeah, I did that.
Now, Friday the 13th Part 9 was undoubtedly the worst garbage film I've ever seen. But the worst stinker of the Friday the 13th series has to be none other than Friday the 13th Part 5. All right. Jason wasn't even in the movie, for crying out
true.
loud. There was a guy dressed up as the character as
Imposter.
Jason, and his name was Roy.
Yeah, we call it the Jason Imposter, the blue Jason.
But for some reason, he had the same zombie powers as Jason. He couldn't get
Yes.
hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the deal with that, Jeff?
I'm not sure. Maybe, they teach paramedics how to survive injuries or something like that. But
Well,
yeah, but you could take him down pretty easy. The kid from Different Strokes took
Dudley.
him down with Dudley from Different Strokes took him down with the snowplow. And
And his grandfather in the movie was the guy who owned the trailer park in The Last Starfighter.
Oh,
Wow,
I
that's right,
remember.
that's right, that's right,
never-
that's right. I forgot
I never
about
would have
that.
picked that, but
Yeah.
you had a couple of actors during the '80s, but the movie was garbage. I mean, Jason did appear in it as a ghost towards the end of the movie, but I don't know where the hell they were going
Yeah,
with
I
it.
don't understand
Anuba
that.
going like that. They were trying to.
It was called The New
The New
Beginning.
Beginning.
Yeah,
Yes,
they were
yeah, the
trying
New
to start
Beginning.
it up as like Tommy Jarvis is going to be the next Jason, but it's
Right.
not believable because they the kid who played Tommy Jarvis in that was such a horrible actor that you didn't want to see it.
Now, my funniest moment of Friday the 13th Part 5 doesn't take place in the movie. It took place at a conversation at a restaurant not too long ago where one of your brothers, Jeff, thought Clint Eastwood was one of the guys in Friday the 13th Part 5.
That's true. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that and everything. When we were watching the guy that played the drifter, the hitchhiker that came in, and my brother Dan was like, "Oh, look at that, Clint Eastwood. Oh yeah, Clint Eastwood in a Friday the." I'm like, Dan, I don't think Mr. Eastwood would be interested in appearing in Friday.
Yeah,
the
he
13th,
was the guy that
Part
was
5, A New Beginning.
I remember that.
But
The only
I
other-
know it, but I've yet to see the guy in another movie.
I have. I've seen that drifter in another thing. He was on an episode of The Dukes of Hazzard where he
Oh,
where he
big.
played a boxer that fought Luke Duke. All right? So he's mistaken as Clint Eastwood by your brothers in Friday the 13th Part 5. And his other claim to fame, he was a boxer, took on Luke Duke in one of the episodes of The Dukes of Hazzard.
great.
But Friday the 13th Part 5 does have the greatest set of tits I've ever
was
seen
just gonna
in a
get
Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah,
and that
they
girl
were-
and that actress's name is Debbie Sue Voorhees. Of
Yep.
all things,
Yeah,
her
Voorhees,
last
yeah,
name
that's
is
right.
Voorhees.
That's right, TC. I actually did a lot of research on her.
I'm
I
sure
actually-
you
I-
did.
She does a lot of the conventions, from what I understand. Not all of them, but she still does show up here and there occasionally, and does a fright frightful scream, whatever they want to call the convention, she does show up and sign autographs.
If you haven't seen Friday the 13th Part 5, go online right now and go to images and type in Debbie Sue Voorhees Friday the 13th Part 5. This girl could have done Playboy.
I hope
she
you
had
have
a
a few
beautiful
hours to
tits
spend
and
when
a
you do it.
beautiful ass. It showed both, you know.
She's still beautiful to this day. I've seen her recently.
Even
and
the
she still
Drifter
looks
thought she was fantastic.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood
looking,
thought. Yeah, Clint
licking his
Eastwood,
lips
yeah.
like that.
Now that movie had some of the baddest acting in the world. Remember Vic? Don't what you talking about there, Vic? The fat kid that had the
Yeah.
chocolate bar all over him.
He was the ambulance driver's son. I guess that's what set him off. That was the whole reason why Jason went berserk when he got killed. When
So,
when the
so
guy
Roy
went
took on
crazy.
the whole Jason persona because his retarded, stupid kid who had
Yeah.
chocolate
Yeah.
all over his face got chopped up by Vic.
You sound just like him, TC. That's great. It's true. That's what happened. He got annoying because he kept bothering him and bothering him. The guy was chopping wood. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Chopping the wood. Next thing you know, that was the end of it. And all
I've
of a
seen
sudden,
that actor in another movie. If you've ever seen the movie Once Bitten, one of Jim Carrey's first movies with Lauren Hutton, where he plays a vampire. Jim Carrey's trying to get laid in the ice cream truck, and there's a knock on the window. Do do do, and he's like, "What do you want? Do you have a creamsicle?" Yes, it was Joey from Friday the 13th 5.
It's either Joey or Steve Tippenose.
Do you have a
Now there were like Friday the 13th Part 5 was the weirdest and strangest and goofiest of them all. We haven't talked about the first one, Friday the 13th, the original one, where Jason only appears at the very end as the boy in the lake. Now the first one is a movie with your good friend Betsy Palmer, Jeff.
Oh yes, I recently put up a picture of me when I met Betsy Palmer back in 2006. She was a very nice lady, and here's a nice black and white photo. But I mean, great casting there. She did it pretty much she got paid $10,000 to get
Wow, 10 grand, huh?
Yeah, $10,000 to
Wow,
appear in the
okay, that's
movie,
good.
and she went out and bought that Chrysler LeBaron
I
she
bet
had
she
her
did.
eye on.
I bet she
So
did.
Betsy Palmer, great casting, because when she showed up in the movies, you never thought that this nice, sweet old lady was doing all this butchering and murdering. Like she said,
did it great,
what
too.
monster could have done this?
And of course, Kevin Bacon was in that movie.
Oh yeah,
One of his first movies.
He was one of the promiscuous teenagers.
He was
Yeah.
smoking medicine, and all of a
that
sudden,
looks like some pretty good. Had to be pretty good if if that's going to be the last thing I'm doing before I get my throat slit, I prefer that. But yeah, Kevin Bacon doesn't talk too fondly on the production of Friday the 13th.
I'm sure.
He says he had to. Whoa, what the hell? I had to wait at the bus station for 2 hours to get there. But yeah, Kevin Bacon and. Well, not too many other actors in that.
Well, I was always wondering what happened to the older gentlemen. They always come up around the corner and go, "You're all doomed.
Crazy Ralph.
You're all doomed." Yeah,
Yep.
whatever happened
He
to
was
Crazy
played
Ralph,
by
Jeff?
Walt Gorney was
Yeah,
that
whatever happened to
actor's
him?
name. Well, they should not have killed off his character
I know.
in part 2. He got strangled by some fishing wire.
Yes.
Which was a shame because he lived throughout. He only died about 4 or 5 years ago, and he could have appeared in all. He could have been given the
Yeah,
warning
they
in all.
never
the
really
Friday
did
the
much.
13th.
That's another kind of loose end that they kind of left
And
hanging.
in Friday
you know?
the 13th 7, about that's the telekinetic one, which I spoke of. He's the narrator at the beginning.
LeVar
There's a
Lincoln.
legend around here,
Yes.
here in Crystal Lake. Yes, that is Crazy Walt Gorney. Crazy Ralph.
unbelievable. Now, Part 5 is the weirdest. Part 9 is the shittiest. Probably the most different of the Friday the 13th ones was Friday the 13th 10. Jason X, where basically Jason goes into space
Yeah.
and he gets metamorphosized, and it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jason Voorhees had a kid. It's like Terma Jason.
That was really crazy. Actually, the first time I seen that, I seen it in the theater. I was intoxicated.
No.
And I didn't really think that I was actually seeing the movie. To the next day, I woke up and I was home, and it was like, did I really just see that movie? Does that really exist? It was so kind of, I don't know what the word I want to use is. It was just so surreal. I really didn't think it was almost like a spoof. Jason Goes to Space. I mean, come on.
I mean, it is what it is. It's
Yeah, I know, but
it's
It was
a comedy.
Friday the 13th. It was just fine with me. It wasn't a great science fiction movie. It had the laughs. It had the tits. It had the that's all
It
the
did
basic
indeed.
thing. It even had a couple of sleeping bag murders.
Oh,
So,
you gotta love the sleeping bag murders. My favorite murder of Jason is when he picked up that the girl that was in the sleeping
yes,
bag and
yeah.
whacked it against
Yeah,
the
the
tree.
tree.
Part
Oh, my
seven.
God.
Back to part
That's my
7.
favorite murder of all time.
My favorite one was actually Jason getting back to Jason X, Jason Tennant, when he put that girl's face in the sink, and it was so cold that her whole front of her face just kind of shattered,
Yeah,
fell
liquid
off.
nitrogen in it.
Yes,
and it
that
froze
was,
her face and then
that was,
smashed it
that
off a
was
counter.
Awesome. That was really
Unbelievable.
good.
Then there was the really bad Jason versus Freddy because New Line Cinemas got owned the copyrights of Friday the 13th, and that was horrible. And then there was the fantastic remake that came out in 2009, the Friday
Yes.
the 13th reboot, which had all the elements of all the great Friday the 13th. You had part 2, part 3, part 4, part 6, all rolled into one movie. Unbelievable. I hope they make a sequel to that. I'm looking for a reboot of Friday the 13th part 2.
I was a big fan of that, actually, believe it or not, TC, because of the reason why is I had the pleasure of meeting actually one of the girls she played in the opening scene, actually, when they were in the camp after they went into the woods, America Olivo. She played
Really?
the brunette, and she signed me. Actually, believe it or not, I was a big fan after the movie. And I seen her. She signed me on my ribs in America, and she played one of the counselors. And that was a big thrill. And then actually, I got to meet actually Derek Mears, which plays the new
Jason.
Derek Mears.
He looks like Kane from the
yeah,
WWE.
He does. And I actually still to this day I still keep in touch with him and things like that. And he's a good guy too. He was good. I think he was really a good choice.
It had the spirit of the
Yes,
original
he did.
Friday
He
the
had
13th
spirit.
movie.
I mean, it was good. He had the energy. I mean, he had the persona.
And it had the guy coming back looking for his sister, just like in part 4.
Yep.
and
That's
everything.
right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it had a combination of 2, 3, 4, and 6 all rolled into one. Unbelievable.
That was great.
So that's our big Friday the 13th talk down there. I love Friday the 13th.
I do
I don't
too.
care which one is on, even the crappy ones. I'll still sit there and watch them. Bull, what do you think about that? What's your favorite Friday the 13th?
Well, the best one happens to be the one you and I like.
Part 3.
Correct.
You weren't in the movie theaters when I was 11 years old, and I didn't see you in 3D, did I?
No.
Well, thank Christ about that. What we're going to do is we're going to take a big-time commercial break, and we come back. We're going to talk about Bull's photo shoot and why you're doing a photo shoot. So we'll be right back after this. This is the After Hours Experience. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, I'm Allison Wade, Playboy's Miss May 2006, and you're watching After Hours with TC Rasani.
All right, welcome back from that big-time commercial break. Bull, we are here on location at a studio, not our after-hours studio. You're down here doing a photo shoot. What's the gimmick going on? What are you taking photos for?
Well, TC, June 27th, as the fans out here know, I was already inducted into the New England Wrestling Hall of Fame.
You're right, a couple years back. Big honor for you. I remember that night.
2010.
2010.
And then, so I found out last year that they had one.
Yeah, I remember that, Bull. I was there with you.
And so they contact me again, come down.
Sign some autographs for the fans.
Correct.
So you're down here taking photos that you're going to be selling or signing and giving away to the
Correct.
fans at the big shindig on the 27th of June in Providence,
I
Rhode
know
Island.
a lot of
Right.
people who are going to want these.
That's gonna
These
be
are
a big show,
beautiful.
Bull.
These are
This is
beautiful
it.
pictures.
These are going to be unbelievable. You're wearing the shirt that you wear on the show all the time. In fact, there's a picture right now on the screen right now, one of the photos that you will be signing on June 27th in Providence, Rhode Island at the Fan Fest down there. Now, this is unbelievable. You're going to be down there. Tony, give us some of the big names that Bull's going to be sharing the room with.
He'll be there with Tony Atlas. He's going to be there with Kelly, one of the famous divas. He's going to be there with a lot of big names.
Goldberg?
John Morrison's going to be there. Goldberg, which I'm very much looking forward to. He's one of my top 3 wrestlers. The only former diva, Lita. Lita's coming back around. She's going to be there. So this is pretty big time for Bull. I'm so happy and very proud and to be part of this. And
You're going to be representing the show down there.
It's going to be great. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
an honor, Bull.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct on that. TC.
Unbelievable. And the photographer down here is taking 1 million pictures, so we're going to be using some of these photos not only for your big fan fest, but down there, but fans worldwide that love our program and that love you. You're going to be you can autograph them. So if you want an autograph Bull picture, let me know. Just tweet me at TC Rastani if you want your picture, an autograph picture of Bull. It's free of charge. We love our fans, so we're going to give it away. Bull, you're going to sign
awesome.
autographs for
Correct.
free for our show, for After Hours with TC
Correct.
Rastani. Unbelievable.
Awesome,
Well, congratulations on that, Bull.
Thank you.
And you're well deserved. And I know everybody in your family is proud of your induction that you took place in 2010. And you have the plaque hanging in your living room where everybody can come in and see it. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well done, my friend.
Yeah, very proud of you, Bull. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to being down there that day. I'll be down there also, kind of hanging around and saying hi to all my friends and what I consider my family, and I'm very happy to be there with Bull and to see this happen.
Well,
and
I'm getting it
witness
through my earpiece. Airwolf Chris is telling me you have to wrap the show up because the photographer is $25 an hour, Bull, down here,
Wow.
and he has to take more photos of you. We'd love to have Sabrina or stylist Lisbon taking photographs, but of course they have to do you. So once again, I'm TC Rastani. This is the After Hour Experience, along with
South Boston Jeff.
Signature boy Donnie.
Along with Colonel Bull Montana.
and just like the TV version, or hopefully will be coming back soon. We what? We
Never close.